Aren't we just gonna keep going?
Well, we're live again. Can you guys hear us now? Let's test this out.
So we had technical difficulties again, 5 times in a row.
Ready?
We thought we had it. Anyway, are you checking, Greg, or what?
Yeah, it takes a minute to come up. So go ahead and continue.
So,
where was I?
Well, let me reintroduce you to the folks at home.
Did they not? Are
I
they
don't
not going to
think
be able
so.
to watch the other part?
I don't think so.
There we go. Oh, yeah, sorry.
It's just going over and over.
Are you gonna
Oh,
erase
yeah,
this
the
one or
audio's
what?
here now, so we're good to go.
You gonna erase this one or what?
I can never see that one. So, welcome. Hello again, everyone. For now, you can hear us. Thank you, Robert and Gilbert Santos.
They caught us at 20 minutes in. We were having a great conversation of how. Oh well. Anyway, let's start over.
Hold
okay?
on, we gotta give that shout out to Pier 1 Window Cleaning. Thanks, guys. Always looking out, making sure that everything is clean, crisp, and clear. I got you, brother.
Wow, that's a really good shout out.
You know.
All right,
Good
so welcome, Sergio.
Hello again.
I guess let's reintroduce you. I mean, well,
just give a quick
just
recap.
give us your resume.
My resume?
Yeah,
Oh,
why not?
God, where to start? My name's Sergio. I'm 29 years old. I am a college dropout.
Nice. That's all too common around here.
I have all my transfer credits just in case I want to transfer to the university or Cal State, but it's a little expensive, so I don't want to necessarily take on thousands of dollars of debt if I'm not certain on a career that I want to follow. I bust tables for a living. I work with a lot of hot chicks, so that's definitely a plus. It makes me happy when I go to work, and I could pay all my bills with that job. So right now I'm kind of in limbo, but yeah. I don't know. I like to think a lot. I think a lot about a lot of shit, mostly what it means to be human.
Have you ever thought about this? About being a sex therapist? Have you heard of that?
100%.
Dude, my brother, one of his friends from middle school, just became a sex therapist. Like no one was like, this guy's gonna be a sex therapist. And I don't know, apparently it makes money. Don't know how you would do it without it being like a legal thing.
Yeah. Well, you go to school as a therapist. Like you do all the psychology, and then you just go from there. But I'm pretty sure that most sex therapists have some sort of counseling certification, like a MFT, like a marriage family license therapy. Yeah. So it's like
Interesting.
training like that, and then they'll just learn about, sexual dynamics, like, the whole, I don't know, but I'm assuming it's something like that.
What about those gurus?
There's a sex therapist in
What about
fucking
those
Meet the
sex
Fuckers. Remember Meet
Yeah.
the Fuckers?
The gurus that just go around?
Is it Pam? No, not Pamela Fucker. Martha Fucker. She's a sex therapist.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think that'd be cool.
You think what about those gurus that just travel all over the place and they're present?
Yeah.
They teach people how to have sex?
I used to want to find like the right guru, and now the older I get, I'm just like, that's just, I don't know, man. They're just blowing smoke.
Gurus are a little funny, but when it comes to a coach, I really believe in a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to
What kind of
anything,
coach?
it could be writing coach. It could be fighting coach or boxing coach.
Mentorship.
Yeah, in a sense.
Yeah. Like
Mentorship really, really works. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's super important in fighting. You got to find like the right person that's gonna, like, for me, something that's really important is like maintaining my safety when I'm sparring. And there's some coaches that are a little bit more old school, and they go in there and, I'm not saying that they have your worst interest in mind, but if you're taking a lot of punishment, they'll see like, oh, he's hanging in there, like just let him stay in there. but
Let him take it.
Let him take it, because a lot of old school philosophy in fighting is like that, especially in the Mexican culture. And there's a lot of Mexicans in the gym, and they just take it because they're tough. They're warriors. But I don't know, man. I don't think like that's the smartest thing. And I have met a few coaches that they're like, you know, you guys are gonna spar light, and I met coaches where like they don't care, like just go at it. So yeah, coaching is super important.
Right.
Mentorship.
But before we started this podcast, the other one where, you know,
The one where no one can hear.
Where
It.
there's
we
no
were
audio.
having this good conversation. How you were mentioning how you've had a passion for boxing for quite some time.
Just martial arts in general. Like, you know, hands is really important. So that's the boxing aspect. Kicking, Muay Thai, kickboxing, the ground game. There's a lot of shit. But for me, the two main ones are jiu-jitsu and wrestling, which I tend to gravitate towards more like wrestling, just because I feel like it still has somewhat of a striking aspect. Like naturally, I'm more of a striker than like a grappler. So I gravitate more towards the aggressive, explosive, you know, which is wrestling. Yeah.
Now, how has that helped your life in a sense?
I
Do you
don't
think?
know. It's kind of.
What do you think? Has it had a big impact in your life?
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of my social life revolves around like UFC pay-per-view events. Some of my best pastimes with you guys have been like, you know, going to the fights and hanging out, drinking some beers, you know, eating some wings. And then it also keeps me in shape. Like I have pretty decent like stamina, because I'm always trying to do some sort of work like that. It helps me with my coordination. The other more superficial thing is like people are like, oh, like you train, so like they want to talk to you more. But I'm like in my
It's attractive,
head,
right?
yeah, it's like
You're-
appealing to people. Like, oh, you're a fighter. But in my head, I'm like, I'm not really like a fighter. I just like it. Like I'm a fan. Like I'm a fan of the UFC. I'm a fan of boxing. Like I'm just a fan who likes it enough to go and practice it.
I see.
Because I don't want to get my ass beat if it ever came to that.
Yeah,
Like that scares me. You know, like I want to learn how to defend myself
sure.
against dudes like this savage over here.
We've already established that I
Two.
would win, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, we established that first you need to learn how to connect.
Yeah. So if he learned how to just connect, like if he learned his distance, which takes some time depending on how apt you are to, you know, your athleticism. I don't know how athletic you are.
Right
Great.
now?
Just in general.
Questionable.
Okay. So like, and then you like practice your technique for like a month or two, you know, throwing the overhand right, and then like you and me happen to meet in a fucking alleyway, like after, you know, like a late night or something, and I've been training for like 2 years, and I connect on you like 5 times, but you've been practicing that overhand right, and you know where I'm at, and you just gauge it and just toast, just because of the weight. It's physics, right? So I believe the equation for force is mass times acceleration
Yeah, it is.
times velocity or something like that. So like this guy's got 230 pounds behind his punch, and if he learns how to throw his weight around into that punch, and I'm obviously going to be faster than you, but I have 150 pounds. Also, you have a longer reach, so it's like if you have a longer catapult, so you are going to be able to wind that up and have more force, because it's a longer distance to cover your arm, so you're getting more momentum. Whereas I have a shorter arm, less weight, so it's
like,
physics. It's
with,
physics.
the
People don't think
swimmer
about
dude,
that.
Michael Phelps. His arms and his legs were awkwardly long for his body, and then he has some kind of like lung. I don't know if it's considered a lung disease, but it makes it so he needs less oxygen to perform,
Oh, really?
and so that's why he
Okay.
just slaughters everyone, because he's
He's
a
a
natural
perfect.
dolphin.
He's a
Yeah.
great specimen for that sport.
So we were just talking about how Mike Tyson was,
The-
the perfect. It was like whatever brew him was a perfect storm.
yeah.
He had the athleticism. He was built like a tank
Mhm.
at a young age,
Mhm.
and he had great coaching.
I think it's more of
Drugs
the.
may have helped a little bit there too.
I think
Just saying.
So
little king.
Like I don't think I personally, I mean, I could totally be wrong, but I don't think anyone on the top level of sports is not using drugs of some kind. Some performing
Olympians-
enhancement that
Olympians.
should
So
not be legal.
there's a lot of Olympians who are clean. I think.
I don't. No professional bodybuilder.
well, yeah, but
Bodies don't
that's
get like that.
that's
But you-
acceptable in the bodybuilding.
It's not.
community.
It's actually against the rules. They just know how to get around it.
Yeah, but it's part of the culture. Like it's
Yes.
permeated the culture. Just because you have like this organization that's like looking over it doesn't mean that the culture stops being who it is. You just have this outside body.
Yeah,
Not-
but then when you
like-
go out and say, "Oh, I'm a natural athlete," when you're not,
Well, that's
that's
just.
where the
But
issue
you
is.
have to.
But that's just
You
all
don't
the
have
people.
to.
That's just.
What are you gonna say? I'm not a natural bodybuilder.
Then you would get disqualified.
But okay, so like for instance, like let's say you take like our group and we're all on some shit, and you're the only one who's not on some shit.
I win by default.
No.
What?
Yeah, because you guys are cheating. That's the point of the rules, is to make it a fair starting.
But
line.
not everyone's as
So-
righteous as you are.
But those are the rules. That's the rule. That's the
I
whole
understand
point.
that, but not every. You have
Then
you-
remove that rule so then I can then participate
no.
and compete.
What, okay, you have your way of thinking. This is where me and Greg clash a lot. You have your way of thinking, but your biggest downfall is taking yourself out of the way that you think. That I'm not saying you're wrong. You are 100% right, but put yourself in someone else's mindset. That people don't think like that. The majority of people
Yeah.
don't think like you.
But see, that's why the rules are there. Though.
That's not true.
Yes, it's
The-
so that everyone has
The
chance
rules are
to-
there because it's a liability if you're taking steroids. If they say,
It fucks you
"Hey,
up.
go take steroids," it's permitted, and you get these 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds messing up their testosterone.
That's what's happening.
It's their endocrine system.
Yes.
It's their
What's
hormonal
happening.
system.
Yes, but if they say that, they're liable for it.
You get lost.
Dude, you don't get Kai Green. No, everybody knows that you don't get Kai Green and Phil Heath from being natural. The judges are well aware of that. The organization is well aware of it. It's
Yeah.
just the fact that it's a liability to be promoting it.
Sure, but that doesn't make it fair.
Why not?
That's the whole point.
You
of
have the choice
competition.
to do it or not.
That's the whole point of competition.
Yes, Greg, but
Is-
you have
is
the
to have a
personal
fair
choice.
start.
You have the personal choice to do it or not. You want to get big? Steroids. When you inject steroids, it doesn't just make you big.
No, you still
You
have to do
still
other
have
stuff.
to work out hard, and you probably work out harder. 100%.
These guys are beasts. I'm not saying it's right.
We're not saying that they're not working. We're not saying.
Have
that.
you seen
But I'm
Kai
saying there's
Green
no
work out?
way if, say, a natural athlete and a non-natural athlete compete for the same thing, they're going to be doing about the same work. The only reason one might be doing more is because of the steroids, where the other person could not possibly do it.
Well, first,
Where that person could also not do it without the steroids.
first we have to
That's where it's
establish
not
what
fair.
steroids are, and they're just
I just said performing enhancement. If
Whatever
we're
it
talking
is.
about steroids, I can't give you.
well,
any
whatever a performance enhancement. What it does, particularly the steroids, it just helps you recover faster. You still have to go to the gym 6 days a week. It allows you to go to the gym 6 days a week. That's what it's about. When a regular person can only go to the gym 3-4 times a week, 5 times a week at the most, and your body's obliterated, the steroids help you recover. That's what they're for.
They do a lot more too.
What? They give you strength?
Well, like we
Shrink
said,
balls.
they have a lot of health assets.
Lactate.
They do. But
Back
that's
knee.
But that's why it's a liability if the organization was
If
like,
they're
It's
endorsing
also
Hey,
bad
or
because
performance.
in the bodybuilding aspect, you can tell a lot of times when someone's using too many steroids, their gut, they don't have any definition.
That's
it's
pot belly.
rampant, Yeah.
that's I don't know if it's a particular steroid or it's anabolic steroid. I don't know what it is. I don't know which one it is, but there's different ones. And that happens when you don't know what you're doing. You're just taking them for taking them. That's why I'm saying coaches are so important. Dude, right now, I don't know if you follow bodybuilding at all. I follow a couple people. Dude, those people, they're wizards. Just the way they're able to get the tightness on the like in the belly,
The striations.
and the amount of muscle they're able to put on, that is really difficult, man.
Some of that stuff too I've seen comes out to like, I don't know if they're considered like massage therapists, but like they'll literally move the muscle. Like they'll go in and they'll like massage it and move the things. Like,
Yeah, to
try to
stretch
sculpt
it,
you
to stretch it,
yeah.
and
Some of
it's
it's so painful. Too.
and it's really more about the recovery. That's what it is. Recovery. That's why nutrition is so important. Because if you're eating shitty food, you can't recover. You're not putting in the nutrients that your body needs to recover. That's why they say you can't outtrain a bad diet. It's really about the recovery process. Because everybody can go and rip your muscles, do 5 push-ups, But if you don't recover correctly, then your body won't. You won't be able to like build more muscle. You're going to be chipping away and ripping it and ripping it and ripping it to a point where your body's actually using the fuel to repair that muscle, and now it's not growing and you're not getting stronger. So if you really think about it, it's about that recovery game.
How do we get on the topic of fucking performance enhancing drugs?
He said Michael Phelps, and then he said that if you think about it, everybody at the top would not be at the top without some performance enhancement, which I kind of believe.
Yeah.
But what about like pool players who are at the top of their game?
I still
They use that limitless
Nicotine?
pill.
They use Limitless to do those calculations.
Limitless?
Fucking
They're like, pew! All right angle at 260 degree 43. Hit it on the side.
Maybe.
Balls.
Maybe. But what about music? Well, musicians are rock stars. Those are different.
They freaking.
I think you need
Psychedelics?
to. I think you need
psychedelics, bro.
I think they need to.
fucking performance enhancing drugs.
Oh yeah.
Musicians.
I think
some
honestly,
of the best
it really
musicians have taken psychedelics.
I mean, just look at Jimi Hendrix, man. Crazy.
He's alright.
You didn't really like him?
I'm just kidding.
Maybe you've never really
I've never really
heard.
heard him.
Maybe you've never really heard or seen him perform.
I'm not a big fan of like the whole psychedelic culture. I don't know why. It just gives me like a grimy feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's actually one of my personality traits. Is I have a high level of disgust sensitivity. So like I'm really like sensitive to like architectural like design. I'm really sensitive to like colors. I'm really sensitive to just shit that's not organized. Like it fucks me up. Like it gives me anxiety.
Is it like not OCD, but what is that?
I have a slight OCD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that might be part of it.
A slight OCD. Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, people are innately born like that. And then also my whole family's like really clean and organized
And
for the most part.
And if you think about it, everybody who likes psychedelics, they like the abstract.
Yeah. I think it's cool. The art's fucking dope, but it's just like, I don't know, man. Just like a grimy, like that's why I don't like grunge music. It's just like a grimy, like it makes me feel like hungover when I listen to it.
That's how I feel with like
It's like,
horror
ugh.
movies, where like the point of the movie, like Halloween, like the point of the movie is just this guy going to murder people just cause. Like, I'm fine watching a war movie when someone's arm gets blown off by a cannonball.
Braveheart,
Yeah,
The Patriot,
but like, yeah,
both
but like
great Mel Gibson
this
movies.
guy just
You
going
should watch
around
that.
trying to chop people up into pieces just for fun. Like, I get it makes me feel gross. Like,
Do you know that it wasn't for fun? It's just something he needed to do. That is the biggest mystery of Michael Myers, is that nobody
back. I'll be right back.
understands why he had to do it.
wasn't it part of his family or something?
No, was it
I
part
thought
of his
it had
family?
something to do with like his like sister or something.
I thought it was his mom, but I'm not quite sure.
There was someone because he kept going after this specific woman.
I think it was his mom who might have. I thought he was in. I mean, now I'm guessing. Like,
Yeah,
I don't really know. Maybe you want to look into it.
Nah, I don't want to
Look into it, bro. My blood sugar's low.
Can't stand that movie.
Aw.
What is it?
It's a Jolly Rancher.
Sure.
Do you know something about Jolly Ranchers that I learned when my ex was pregnant?
They help you practice to suck dick.
No. What happens is there are sugar-free Jolly Ranchers.
Okay.
And there's something within the sugar-free Jolly Rancher, I forget what the ingredient is, but it helps you with constipation. Because you get constipated when you're pregnant.
Aspartame. the fake.
No. But yeah, so like they recommend because you know have you ever heard of Prego Pops?
Prego Pop?
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
when you're pregnant, you eat these little candies that are supposed to help you with like nausea and like constipation.
You took the other
And
one.
so they're I guess there's some ingredient in the sugar-free one. The doctor behind told us. It's like, try this out. It's kind of like a bro science thing, but
If it worked, it worked.
yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So, are you aware that? Have you seen that documentary on Netflix of the Russian Olympic team in Sochi? That they were literally all on steroids.
I didn't see it, but I heard about that. Because did they win like the same amount of medals as us? And all of them
More.
got taken away?
Mhm.
There was a big sex scandal thing that year too.
A sex scandal?
Yeah,
In Russia?
Apparently, that's like an issue with the Olympics
Mm.
is how much sex happens when it goes together, because you have all these athletes,
jacked
everyone
up
is just
testosterone
shredded,
dudes,
best
pretty women,
bodies out there,
talented, smart.
and they're all
It's a
just
huge
high
orgy.
on drugs. So they're just like it's a huge thing.
I don't think they can do weed or anything. Like, they can't smoke weed. Do weed.
I guess it depends on what country
Mm.
you're from. So like any of our athletes can't do it.
Yeah.
But some of the other athletes probably can.
No, I don't
Because-
think so. Because it's like one organization that sees all the countries. It's like
Yes.
it's a third party.
But the rule may not apply to other countries. So just because we have a law, like there are countries who are in the Olympics where
Yeah.
cocaine is a legal substance in their country,
Oh look.
where
vodka shot.
where methamphetamine is given out at the hospital.
Yeah.
So I have to look that up, but I don't think it would necessarily apply.
Yeah.
Sorry, what I missed? We were talking about the Olympics.
Mhm.
and,
Russia?
The Russia documentary.
Icarus.
Icarus. Yeah. Icarus. I was gonna say Atticus.
And then
That's
I
close.
was talking about how there's a big issue at the Olympics with so much like sex. And,
Greg's like,
all
At the
other-
Olympics?
Yeah,
Greg
they
should
have
become
like
fucking Olympic.
they make sure to like buy a ton of condoms and give them to the athletes and try to separate athletes as much as possible.
Oh yeah, man. What do they expect? You're putting like
The hottest
500 people who are at the top of the line, dude.
alpha males, alpha women, alpha
Just
females.
toxic masculinity
alpha.
flooding the stadium, and then the pheromones of the girls who are on periods, dude. Perfect storm.
Alpha males. You guys think those are real?
You would have to describe alpha.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's
Because-
exactly why I'm like, but what is an alpha?
When you go walk around, when you walk around in the normal world and you walk by someone,
We are in the
you can
normal
all say, "Oh, that person's a good-looking person." Like, I ain't gay, but that guy's a 10. Like, everyone knows. You know what I mean? Like, you know when a guy is good looking.
There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Greg is peeking out of the closet. Woo!
Like,
His toes are
like,
out of the
come on.
closet.
Like, let's say, like, Fabio. I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand how
His
girls
toes.
think Fabio is good looking. Like, he has a chiseled body, a long hair, but, like, he's ugly.
Yeah, but
But, like,
everybody
let's
knows
go with, like,
him.
What's
That's
his
the
name?
thing.
Thor.
Status.
What's his name?
It's
Thor.
status.
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, that guy's a 10,
You
right?
can't just be throwing pens out like that, bro.
But that guy's a 10. Like, if he walked by you and he was clean cut, you were clean cut,
I would be
and
like,
he had no shirt on,
"Meh."
you had no shirt on, come on, everyone looking at him, not you.
first of
Like,
all,
it's just-
they wouldn't be
you
looking
just
at my
know.
shirt.
If he was
off.
on this podcast, everybody would be looking at
You
him.
just know
not
it.
us.
So in that sense, I think there can be an alpha. But when you say that you're just born in a way to where you can just lead everyone, I don't necessarily think that.
I believe in
our
leaders.
circumstance.
I think there's
Like,
leaders.
with like wolves and stuff like that. That's a different level because they live different.
Not really.
They're completely different things.
I don't think they live different. not too different than
It's
us.
just like they communicate differently than we do.
Sure,
Everyone has different aspects of life and different ways
but
of
we
living.
communicate. Yes, but they understand each other. They live in packs. They have families.
They're social creatures.
Yeah, but we don't have like
They're
months
mammals.
of the litter.
We
Some
throw
people
them
do.
out.
Does
No,
your
we did.
mom not like
Alto mom,
your
dude.
brother because he was born
300.
under you?
300.
I would be the alpha in my family
300.
because I was the heaviest person.
300.
Yeah, but see,
Remember they killed the weaklings?
yes, but see, they
Spartans?
would kill the
They actually
weaklings,
did that.
So you want to
They
have what
actually
was
did that.
left. Now what's left?
Straight alphas.
Are you sure you have the
I'm
alpha?
just kidding. I don't know if I believe in
They
alphas.
had
I don't
that
know.
fat
That's why I
guy
just want to bring this up.
who was the last one alive. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about? There was a fat Spartan.
Why you
who
like
lived-
this?
I thought he had one eye, but that's
He
the
had
other
an
guy.
eye patch, but they sent him out. He told them, go tell the troops.
Mhm.
That's why he survived, not because he pussed out.
Well, yeah. So like, I don't necessarily think that we have the
Wow.
same concept
Sorry.
as a wolf as an alpha, where like they don't like you don't see a wolf out there running to get more
One thing is
physically
true.
fit.
There is leaders in human society. 100%. There's people who are just leaders. I don't want to say that they're born to lead, but they just make better leaders.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of shitty leaders. But there's like certain qualities that fall under a leader, like outspoken, like strong character. I don't know.
Popular,
Popular,
Like-
good with people. You have to be good with people.
personable.
One perfect example. I don't know. Can I say this? Yeah, I can say this. Fuck it. Everyone talk shit. My restaurant, our general manager, he's a good leader in the sense that he gets shit done, but he knows how to talk to people and he can manipulate you with his words and the way that he looks at you, but he's a fucking liar. So it's like, it's weird. He's a leader, but he's like not, at least when it comes to a workplace, he's not the most ethical person
Mhm.
when it comes to like treating people. But maybe leaders, they have to be unethical sometimes to like lead a company or lead a restaurant or something. You know,
What do
it's weird.
Yeah, what did you say that
Like
Chimps-
nobody really likes him because everyone knows that he's a fucking bullshitter.
What do
Like
you-
personally for me, I'm just like, yeah, he's in a tough spot. Like I don't know what I would do, but he can manipulate the shit out of you. Like he'll make you eat out of the palm of your hand just by the way that
Well,
like he uses his words, the way he looks at you, his body language. But I wouldn't say he's an alpha because a lot of people, if it was outside of that work setting, outside of that setting, I don't think people would follow him.
Mhm. But see, that's
power.
where
He's in a
it's
position of power
circumstance.
because everyone, yeah. So it's like,
Because it's like when
that's
I
why I
was
look
a
at, like-
general manager, I was able to do everything and be able to tell people be here at this time, do this. And
Yeah.
that. But when I go outside down the street, I can't talk to anyone.
yeah.
He was sipping on
Circumstances different.
estrogen.
You're used to things. It's easier to
That's why it's like
boom, 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 do this.
the whole alpha male thing. I think that's like so important, dude. Because like I see on YouTube like how to be an alpha male, how to be like, you know, I think for me like words are really important. Like I don't think that words are just words. Like they obviously some carry more weight than others, and I feel like you have to be very specific in your language because that's how we communicate. So like when I see all this shit on the internet, like an alpha male, I'm kind of like, who the fuck, like, what is an alpha male? Like, somebody tell me, but I want to hear like through science. And I've looked up articles, and I don't think there's any articles on it that show that
What didn't you say that
humans-
chimps and like gorillas have
alpha males.
alpha males?
Well, gorillas, yes, and chimps. I don't know if you
I don't
wanna label
know.
them
I don't
alpha
know.
males.
No,
or
I
just
don't
like
necessarily
leaders.
know.
Gorillas fight each other for the top space
There's one male gorilla, the silverback, that will dominate the whole.
in a
The whole
silverback.
group.
Sure,
Yeah, so
but
he's
not
alpha.
all gorillas are silverback gorillas.
No, but
Because from
he
what
has- he has mating rights to all the bitches.
yeah,
Basically, he's a top lobster.
and
So
that-
maybe
that's
it's
based
a
off of
societal. Maybe it's like society constructed that.
So will you consider a man who has a lot of high reproductive success with women an alpha male?
No.
Is that what it is?
That doesn't mean anything. There's the scumbags on the side of the street who have new girls every night, but they can barely afford an apartment. Like, how does that make them a alpha male in the society? That we
That's
have?
what I'm saying. So it's like when I look on the internet and I see all these like videos on like how to be an alpha male, and a lot of guys are, dude, they only have like fucking millions of views.
Yeah, so it just depends.
It's
on
like
the
a
circumstances the same
big
way.
thing
Like,
in our
in-
culture right now.
in the wolf or the gorilla type of situation, they are out there trying to survive. They need to make sure that you're being fed and all that. And in this circumstance, just because you can reproduce doesn't mean that you can go out there and work. You have all these other people doing it.
Let me ask you this: do you believe in beta males?
I believe in strong people and weak people. That's what I believe in.
In the sense of what we know about beta males, yes. But like what I said,
But if you believe in beta,
you walk down the street and you're just like, God damn.
If you believe in beta cucks, then you have to believe in alpha because they go.
Everybody who's not
there's
a
no beta. There's no beta without alpha, and there's no
So
alpha
you don't
without
think
beta.
there could be alpha cuck?
I think that would be a very strong fetish that
The
maybe
alpha-
you would be interested
No,
in. Right?
Alpha
because
of the
have you not
cubs.
heard of these super rich people? It's just like this. There's like people who like to be a dominator, like someone who just likes to have control over things. Behind doors, they like to be taken control of.
Of course, because they don't experience that throughout
So does
their
that
daily
make
life,
them
so they
both?
miss it.
You know what I mean? Like that's why it doesn't make much sense. I think we as humans are completely different than
The animal.
what we see now. It's because I even see a wolf alpha different than a gorilla alpha.
But they both do the exact same thing. They both tell the what would you call them?
They don't tell
The
them. They
pack.
demonstrate.
They show them where to go. They lead them to the place. They
To
are
the promised
responsible about who's appointing responsibilities without the
And
group.
simultaneously say, no, you cannot fuck my bitches. They'll fight. They fight for reproductive rights over the females.
Honestly, I think alpha is really whatever you want it to be. It's one of those terms. Because you can be an alpha of yourself. I think we talked about this a long time ago.
Well, basically just being like a best version of yourself.
The best version of yourself, right?
What does that mean?
What is the best version of yourself?
Like, how do you know? If you knew
If
what
you're
the best
doing the
version
same thing
yourself,
you
what
were
you already
doing
do
5
that
years
version?
ago,
Yeah.
you're not the best version of yourself. Anything other than that,
What if you're a rock star? You're doing the same thing you were doing this is what I like to think. This is why I'm so confused
what if
about
you're
life.
a rock star?
Because I'm always like, what? But what about that? And like, it just
Then we'll put it this way: Rockstar. Obviously, this is not a rock star, but Rick Astley, he did the "Never Gonna Give You Up" song, right? What has he done since then?
who?
Rick Astley.
Rickrolled?
When you get Rickrolled,
I don't know.
never gonna give you up.
Oh
Never
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
let you- That guy doesn't do anything.
He didn't have to. He got famous off one song.
No, but now that takes it back to what you said. Like, if you're doing the same thing that you did 5 years ago, then you're not
Well-
the best version of yourself.
Yeah, but obviously people don't choose to be the best versions of themselves. That's evident in our society. 5%
What's
maybe.
wrong with that?
Nothing.
I think some people enjoy things that aren't acceptable, not in a bad way necessarily. Like some people may want to go live in the jungle, but they can't because they have a family and it's not acceptable to have a kid in the jungle anymore. Like
What?
my point is that now they're not able to do what they want to do, so now they're stuck, just like whatever.
It's metaphors.
You're gonna take it. Let's dial it back to Rickrolled. I feel like I just got Rickrolled right now.
I don't know what that is, but yeah. Rick Roll.
I don't know, dude. I feel like
Love it when you see it.
I feel like life is very complex. We still don't know. We're just scratching the surface of what life really is. I think especially now, like in the technology era, like now that we're able to look back in time, because before everything was memories and stories and pictures, but now we're actually able to look back in time through videos and seeing what was happening 5 years ago and seeing that we're different. You know? I don't think that's ever happened before. And that is making us think about it. Like, oh, like, yeah, remember that? The past? Remember when this happened? And I think it's helping us form our brains and our memories different.
Could be.
So maybe that's why you're just you're getting aware, you're being aware of it now, or you're aware of this happening.
Aware of what?
That the change of, you're saying that it's too, that you don't know. You're starting to learn that you don't really know. The older you get, the less you know. The more you know, the less you know.
I think.
You know?
I think. I think.
Wait. Let's roll back to Rick Roll real quick.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, to like add more to that, I feel like I know you had anxiety.
Mhm.
I'm having anxiety. I don't know if you have it. One of our friends is experiencing anxiety, and I know a bunch of other people that are around our same age that are experiencing like a lot of anxiety. And like I'll go on the internet and I'll look up like a bunch of anxiety stuff. I'll go like anxiety forums and blogs, and it's like we're considered like the anxious generation. Like I don't see people that are older. Maybe they're not open about it, but I've talked to like family members who are like in their 40s and 50s, and they don't have anxiety. They never did. They just did what they had to do.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I would disagree with you.
I don't know.
think
This is
everybody
just
has
what they tell
anxiety.
you.
I think it's part of. It's like a compass. I think it's like almost like a compass that we use when we get anxious about something. It's because something's there. It's like another way of describing like another sense. It's something that guides us to like saying, "Don't do this. Stay here. Stay comfortable. There's danger there. Don't go that way."
Mm.
And it triggers our fight or flight. Sometimes
Mm.
it gives us panic attacks because you know something's there. And what happens when you know that there's something there but you don't take care of it? You start getting anxious because it's still there. It's still taking your energy. You're still thinking about it. But that's beside the point.
Yeah,
So
my point was that like I think at least for me, there's too much information out there, and it all contradicts each other. So I don't know what the fuck is what, because this side is a compelling argument, and this side is a compelling argument, and then this side is a compelling argument. So there's all these compelling arguments, right? And like I just can't sort through all the arguments, and I'm starting to get to the point where it's like it doesn't matter, just fuck it, like don't even look at it.
that's exactly
Like,
what you should be doing.
Shut everything off.
Just it doesn't matter. Look at the options. Try one, it doesn't work. Try another, doesn't work. Try another.
No,
until it
not
works.
trying.
See-
When I'm talking in terms of information, like there's just so much information out there. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
That's
but
why people
you
say
can't-
life is simpler without all this nonsense of like electricity and
Nonsense.
well, because like you don't see anxiety in animals in the same way.
Yes, you do.
Not in the same way. Like,
Dogs have
they
anxiety.
accept what they are. They do their job. They live their life.
That's part of how the older generation grew up. They didn't have a chance to be like, "Hey, I'm anxious because I don't know what to do. I need to do something because my situation sucks." They were taken into war. They were drafted. They didn't have a choice. For sure they had anxiety. What's going to happen when I land on the ground? What's going to happen when I go and fight this war? They didn't have a choice. They tell you that, oh, I didn't experience. Come on, because nobody wants to be seen that they're weak. But everybody, dude. The more I talk to people, the more I'm finding out that everybody's had it. Everyone's had it since we became conscious.
Maybe.
I think it's part of the reason why we evolved this way,
Evolved
Or also-
that way.
the way we think now, the way we are now. Because if anxiety wasn't, you have to remember our body only has things that it needs. Sometimes you have things like tumors. Obviously, your body doesn't need it, so it causes cancer and it kills you, like anomalies. But our bodies have adapted to create senses because we need the senses to navigate our surroundings. Our body has had to create emotions in the way, like our nervous system, because when you hug somebody, it makes you feel good. So now you have like this community, you have this group that you can rely on to, and then now you can, like you're able to pass your genes forward. So we've had to evolve this way, and anxiety is just part of that.
I
Just
see what you're
nobody talks about it, and it's something that
saying. We're talking about it right now.
us. But who else do you have these types of conversations with? Honestly,
All my coworkers.
about anxiety,
Yeah, 100%.
I'll tell you because a lot of people are not enjoying that job, and it seems to be because of your GM. So
It's the job in general.
Maybe.
Restaurant jobs are garbage.
they're horrible. You know, I worked at Carl's Jr. for 3 months and I had to tap out. You know,
Imagine staying at Carl's Jr. for 12 years.
you had a choice, Greg.
You
You had a choice, Greg. You had a choice. You want to make that choice again? You want to do that for another 12 years? Have at it. Have at it, man. Good luck.
He's just laughing. He's like, fuck.
Because it's true, man. That's one of the things that I've been, I don't know, I think I'm learning recently. It's
What?
just, you gotta try everything, man. You just gotta do everything. Whatever you feel like at that moment, just try it. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out. We just stuck. We're stuck thinking about things because we just have more access to information
But I
that
think
we actually have it's a commodity to stop and think about what you want to do.
But you still have to have some sort of wall there for things that you know are obviously bad.
Moral compass, man. That's it. I'm not telling you go and kill babies. You know, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if whatever, beckons at you, like go try it out. Or do something that's different. And I feel like maybe you haven't experienced that a little bit, Greg. Like just by seeing, like now putting everything together in
He was
this
a kid.
perspective.
He was a child.
That's
So
new.
it's
That
easy-
was new.
It's easier for me. And then
That was
it's easier
new,
for
right?
You.
What?
Well, obviously having the child. Did that change your life? Or have you
I think
been,
so. I think
or are
I-
you the same? Or are you still working at Carl's, man?
Well, I don't, because there was already a child in the picture when I first started. Having Oliver, I never ever had that feeling of like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't, oh God, what's happening? Like most people say, like first time fathers are like freaking out and you can tell
Anxious.
something.
They
Yeah,
have anxiety.
I didn't have any of that. Like I had no issue. I was just like, oh, okay, another one's coming. Like the only
Okay.
thing I had issue with, I hate holding newborn babies.
But before then, before you
Yeah.
even had a child in the picture,
No, I don't know. I think I always was meant to be a dad in some way.
you feel like, well, I guess you're like a more nurturing than other.
Natural dad. Yeah, he's
So
a really good dad.
like even when I go out, I enjoy like how you guys might go out, or I guess you certainly will. When you go out and you would look at the girls and be like, God damn, like sure, I do that also. But
I
I
was gonna
find
say-
more enjoyment going out. This is gonna sound really bad, but I found more enjoyment going out. Like we were at the music, and I found more enjoyment watching the kids running around having fun than I did them playing music. Like a kid right up behind me was laughing and having a good time, and I got more enjoyment from hearing that than I did from hearing the band.
Cool.
Like not in the way,
I was.
Don't be weird.
Oh,
Don't be weird
damn,
here.
Greg. What are you trying to?
but like.
Greg,
Like when you see a mom and the mom walks in, like is around, it's like, oh, what a cute kid. Or you see the grandma and grandpa walking up to this random
So you're
table and
like-
like, oh, your child's cute. And they don't even know the
So
person.
you're more maternal.
I guess, yeah.
That's true.
Like where
I
people
like
are
kids.
like, oh, a baby's gonna scream again.
Oh, I know. I don't get that.
Like
I mean, I get it. Like, I can logically think about it, but I'm like, dude, it's a fucking kid. You were a fucking kid.
like every time
That
I
trips
go,
me out. I'm like, you're an idiot. You were like, oh my god, babies. I'm like,
like I go
people
to a
have short
Target.
memories, man.
like there's this girl who's like 19 years old, and she's like, babies, and I was like, you're 19, like you're a fucking baby, like 14 years ago.
You're still a baby.
Yeah, I want to be like, dude, shut up. You know,
You're doing exactly what that kid's doing. You're just saying something.
you're just bigger.
You're just making sense. Shit.
Yeah.
Gotta teach these young.
Kids are funny, dude. I like kids. Like to me, I genuinely like when I watch Oliver, he's fucking hilarious. Like just how he's so free, like doesn't have a filter. I'm just like, dude, that's tight. I want to be like that.
Yeah. People are in cages, man, that they built themselves.
No, I think society fucking. I think yeah, you could do it yourself, but like when you're a little kid, you can get broken or built up by your parents or whoever.
Yeah. The other people can shape you.
Like yeah, you're the one who allows them to cage you up when you're a little kid. There's other kids who are more resilient than others. Like there's some kids that fight back, but then there's kids that like they're so young that they haven't matured enough to like be like, oh well, I'm not gonna let
what's
this
happening.
I'm not gonna let this person like
affect my thinking.
yeah, but then there's other kids they don't know, or some kids do know and they like fight back, you know. So I think it depends on the individual. Like you can either be a weak kid or a strong kid.
Mhm.
I was a weak ass kid, so I let if people want to put cages on me. I was like, fuck it, like I don't know, like
Yeah.
you know. And then until I got older, I was just like, fuck, I really like boxed myself in, you know. I'm still fucking tearing that shit down. It's hard. It's like a daily thing.
Yeah, it's really tough, man.
But you know, I don't know,
That's how it is.
Yeah, that's life.
So I mean, you want to tell us a little bit about
No,
your boxing experience?
just kidding. My boxing experience.
After all,
Yeah. Oh, okay. Just a little brief synopsis. I got interested in boxing when I was really young, watching the fights with my mom's ex-husband. And then UFC came out, and my old best friend from middle school had bought the DVD of like UFC like 13 or something. It was Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz. And
classic.
Tito Ortiz had he came out with the Mexican and the American flag like coming out like all badass, and he was from Huntington Beach, and I was like, oh fuck, like Orange County, like that's dope. And I was rooting for him, so that like pumped me up more. And then that sort of became a tradition between me and my cousins, like watching UFC fights, along with like wrestling and shit. And then when I got older, I moved to my dad's, and I think I was 18 or 19, and I went into a dojo, a boxing dojo, really small, fucking 30, like whatever. But everyone was training like next to one another, like in super tight places. And I told the guy, I was like, hey, I'm interested in like training here. Like, how much does it cost? He's like, it's free or something like that. And I was like, oh, and he's like, how old are you? I was like 19. He's like, well, kind of looks at me like, not like a good look. He like looks me up and down. He's like, kind of old. We usually start you guys at like 12 or 13 or 11, but just come by. And like, I was a weak kid. I was a weak person. So I let that get to me. And I was like, I didn't go. And then at 21, I got an itch again, and that's when I started Krav Maga. And then when I turned 23, and then I stopped going to that because it was like $160 a month, so I couldn't afford that because I had gotten a DUI, so I had to pay for that shit. And then once I got a little bit more back on my feet financially, I went to go Quentin Rampage Jackson opened up a gym literally like 10 minutes walking from my house. And he was a big UFC star. He had come over from Pride from Japan, but he's American. And I was like, sick, I'm going to train with that dude. And so I went, I signed up. His gym closes down, and then he opens up a new one at a different location. And then I go to that one, and then that one closes down. And one of the guys who was my trainer there, because he's our age, he's like, hey, I'm going to be working at UFC gym in Lake Forest. He's like, come by. I'm like, I'll hook you up. And I still talk to that guy to this day. He still works there. Super cool guy. I think he actually just fought last week in Japan. Yeah.
So you said you've been sparring? You've been
going but anyways,
You've been going to boxing.
When I started at UFC gym, I started doing like sparring like once in a while. I got my ass kicked a few times, and so I would stop going. Like I wasn't fuck. Like I suck. So I would stop going, but then like I always do it, and now I think I spar maybe like 3 or 4 times a month, so like once a week.
Like once a week.
So I mean, like all in all, I probably have like a year of boxing experience, like added up. But that's very fresh.
Yeah. How does it feel when you're about to step in the ring?
Honestly, it's different every time.
Really?
It depends on my opponent.
I
On like
would
what he looks
imagine,
like.
right?
It's really mental. It's super mental. If they're physically imposing, if they're tall, if they're brown, if they're black, if they're white, that also plays into your
Really?
Yeah, because 100%. I have this thing where I judge people based on their looks. I judge them on their cover. I don't know why, but I've always built that habit, so I'm trying to get away from that. Some days I feel really confident. Some days I'm like, fuck. Like last time I sparred which was on Thursday when I got my concussion. I knew I was gonna get fucked up. I was mentally weak, and I ended up getting fucked up. So it's really mental.
I'm sure that
But
plays a big role.
he wasn't physically imposing at all by any means. Literally built like me, taller. And I was like, whatever. It's nothing I haven't seen before. But I just knew, like, I just was just off. Like when fight. Now I understand when the fighters get interviewed after their fights and they lost like bad, and they're like, just wasn't my night. I couldn't. Fuck, what's that word? I couldn't implement my game plan. Like when Tyron Woodley fought Usman, he literally did nothing. Like that's not the Tyron Woodley that people are used to.
Right.
He wasn't doing anything. He was just sitting there. Yeah, that's literally what I was doing. And I was just like, I get it now. I felt stiff. I don't know. But it was mental.
Mm-hmm.
Because before I sparred the guy, I was like, I feel like I'm going to get my ass kicked.
So, I mean, maybe he just had that edge on you. And I wonder if it was
I don't
maybe
think he
like
had a
body
mental-
language or something that was like in the
he was a kid. He was a kid.
Yeah.
Like if anything, I had the body language like win over him. Like I was staring at him. I was like standing there like just like ready, like pacing back and forth, like just watching him. Obviously, you don't want to like fuck up your opponent.
Yeah.
You're there to learn from each other, but like I had a confident stance, and he was just there, just chilling, and you just I don't know. But how do I feel? But yeah, it depends. Every time is different. Sometimes I don't feel anything. Sometimes I'm nervous. It's different all the time. I think it depends on the week that I had.
Yeah.
If I was successful that week, like
You're a little
with
more
women,
you got a
with life,
pep in
yeah,
your
I'm like
step.
life's going. Yeah, a little pep in my step. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fucking whoop this fool. And I had a really rough week, so I was like, I don't know. I'm just feeling down on myself. So fighting is really mental.
Well, I'm sure. I think it's like
I mean, with anything.
yeah, 90% your brain,
Yeah.
right? 80% your brain.
Have you ever
20%
sparred?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Have
I
you
don't
ever
think
sparred?
I ever sparred.
I mean, we used to have boxing gloves.
Like a backyard box? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's actually how I started
But
That's how
we
I
never
started.
like
in high school.
if someone connected once, it was done.
Oh, really?
Like we weren't trying to like
Oh,
we
you
would
know
do the
what?
whole fake WWE thing where we'd slam someone through a table and that kind of thing. But like we would never if someone got hurt, we'd be done because fighting was different than tackling someone in a football game.
You know what?
Like we tackle kids into the rose bush, that's perfectly fine. But
Oh my god.
to purposely punch someone in the face, like
Dude, do you remember body blows?
Yeah.
I did body blows. Yeah.
I never did that. I
Couple
just did
times.
the blood knuckles.
I did bloody
Oh, yeah, I
knuckles
forget
And
too.
the
that.
quarter version of it.
Oh, in the quarter.
That
Quarter.
I totally forgot about that. Bloody knuckles. So you just go like this, and they would do it,
Mhm.
and then you would do it on them.
I was always pretty good at those.
There was another one that like people always underrated, but the more you played it, the worse it got. It's rock, paper, scissors, slap. Do you ever play that? So you hold my hand. Normal, don't be a dick. Okay, so you would hold your thumb up, and you do rock, paper, scissors. Whoever loses, to say you lost, you tilt your hand like this, and I just smack your hand as hard as you can, and you just continue to do it until someone lets go of the hand. I did it with my friend once. I did it with Matt. Our hands were bleeding, dude. It was so bad. It was so bad. Just little stupid games like that. Like,
What? To
Like-
pass your time?
yeah, like what's the issue? Like my hand's bleeding, that's fine, but like to get punched in the face is different.
Yeah, and it hurts like hell.
Mhm.
I mean, okay, so one time, man, it must have been 5 years old. I went to visit some cousins in another part of the city when I was 5, and we, it was like a sandy area. There were a lot of bottles, and we were throwing rocks at birds. And then he just, for some reason, he's like, Marco. And I looked, and he threw a fucking bottle at my face. I was bleeding, dude, for the whole fucking day.
Who was it?
Who?
Yeah.
Some fucking asshole cousin.
It kinda
I don't
reminds me-
even know if it was a cousin. It was like just a kid I knew from the family. My sister was married into this family. Fucking fucked my face up.
To this day.
Yeah,
That's totally
it really
reminds me, dude.
is. I mean, that's where the good looks come from. He gave me some character.
I had gone on a trip to Peru, or a missions trip, and a group of us, we had gone out to go help with an orphanage. And right afterwards, we go outside, and there's these steps that take you up a hill. And for some reason, some people went up the hill. I don't remember what it was. Someone must have thrown one up. But we started throwing rocks at the people up there. And so then they decided to start throwing rocks at us. And we were all friends, so like we're not trying to hurt each other.
Sure.
But then it turned into everyone doing it like we were playing dodgeball. And we're like, all right, everyone
Rocks?
stop before someone gets hurt.
With rocks.
Sure enough, someone threw that last one, hit a guy in his tooth, broke his tooth. And it was one of the people who was like from there, so like they were our guide in a sense.
Oh man.
So we had to chip in to get him a doctor's opinion.
Jesus Christ.
Did
Well,
you take
we're
some
just
ayahuasca when you were there?
No.
You
No,
should
I
have.
went to an area that was very poor. Like the
Yeah, that's where you
the
get
good-
ayahuasca.
the good homes were made like it was like no bigger than this. Floors were dirt. The front door may have been wood. If it was wood, it was more or less like just leaned up against some cement.
Mm-hmm.
And
Damn.
then the majority of people were they built little cardboard huts.
Did that change? Like, did that change your way you looked at life?
I did not want to live there. No.
Were you more grateful
Well, like,
that you
yeah, when
lived
you came
here,
back here.
in the U.S.?
How old were you?
Yeah, because 14, 15.
I feel like traveling is really, really good, man. It really gets you out of this bubble that we live in.
Even like
Dude,
going
even
to
when
the
you-
bathroom there, like you can't flush toilet paper down. So like you have to throw all your toilet paper in the trash can. If
Yeah.
you forgot and you clogged it, there ain't plumbers out there.
And of course, we're talking to Greg here. I'm sure that happened a few times.
It was very interesting because we went with a church group and we stayed in a church. And they said every time a group comes to help, the church grows. Like so many more people show up. And we always make sure to feed the kids. So they said there's always kids there. And like when we were there, we would talk to people and like they would be our friends. Like we're like, oh, you're always here. And they're like, we're friends now. They're like, yeah, we've never seen that person before. This is the first week they've ever been here. We're just like, what? You know where everything is? You know all the songs, like everything. They're like, yeah, they're just here because like it's survival almost.
Yeah.
Like this, like they were telling us that the
And
kids who came that week, they had more meals in that week than they probably had the rest of the month.
I'm sure.
It's crazy.
If you really think about it, churches are like mentors. They coach you, right?
Yeah, I don't see much issue with majority of churches. Like even the different types of churches. Because I mean, what's wrong with do not murder? Do not. Well, I mean, some people are fine with committing adultery. Like,
Guilty.
like,
Correct.
but I mean, those rules, like most of them
Adultery.
make sense in the normal day life.
Greg, you're even an adulterer, even though you didn't choose
Yeah.
to
You got
be.
a child out of wedlock.
Yeah.
You whore.
You
Shame.
just shame. You're gonna shame you, dude.
Shame.
Isn't that crazy?
Hmm.
That Greg is considered to be,
Yeah, I
even
wanna
though
find
he
this
didn't
out.
choose to be
What?
one.
What would I'm curious if the Bible would have it explained what marriage was specifically. Like,
It does.
I mean, like, in the sense of, like, is it a ceremony thing? Is there only specific people who can do it?
It's a
Or is it
union between you and another
say
person.
that you're committed to that person and that's a marriage?
It's
No.
a union between
So
you.
someone else has to do it.
It's like a spiritual union between you and another person or
Under
another
God.
woman in
to
the
serve God.
yeah. Like we're dedicating our
To create a family,
household.
yeah.
So then no one
For you.
can be married if they don't dedicate it to God.
Under that specific, like the Bible,
Yeah.
the religions that follow the Bible, correct.
Because marriage.
Shame.
What?
You haven't been married by the church. You just got married.
But I'm about to. So shame on you. I'm
Too
on
late
this
now.
I'm on my way there. Like, I don't know about you, man. I don't know about you guys. You fucking adulterers. You.
You were an adulterer too, then.
Sorry, man. I mean, everybody is at one point.
I don't know if everybody is.
I pretty much.
No.
I'm pretty
I
sure
don't think so.
everybody is.
No?
I don't
Okay,
think so.
he doesn't think so.
You really don't think so?
I've met plenty of people who were.
Oh, who are an adulterer? Yeah, I don't think so. They're just not sexual people.
They're probably asexual.
Probably.
No, I think there are some people who can wait.
Yeah.
I
Same
was,
with the grin.
Actually, three of my coworkers, they waited. According to them, they were all having a conversation with like 10 different servers, and 3 of them were like, "Yeah, I waited till marriage," and everyone's like, "You waited till marriage?" And then the girl's like, "I waited till marriage too," and the guy was like, "Yeah, we're waiting till marriage too." They're part of a Christian church.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're out there for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just think we live in, like, the people we surround ourselves with are very liberal.
When you think
Not
about it,
liberal
how
in the
we talk
political
about-
sense, but liberal in the lifestyle.
What
When we talk about
Okay.
if you don't experience things, you don't know if you like it or not. So like if they never experienced
Greg,
sex,
are
they have no
you-
interest in it.
Greg.
Like it doesn't matter. Like that's
I
why
had never
that's why I think there are people who
No.
just don't care about it.
No, they.
I had
they-
never experienced it, and I knew I wanted it when I was
Same.
still a virgin.
Dude,
I was like I was like humping my pillow in the middle of the night.
dude,
Like obviously I didn't.
dude, I was must have been 3 or 4, and I was already looking under my teacher's skirts.
Same. I was looking down their blouses.
Dude,
I was
now that I
fine.
think about that, like, man, and I was talking to my mom just the other day.
Yeah, if I have a son, I'm not leaving
And-
him
and
alone.
she
with
was
any other
like,
women.
Oh yeah, you're grandpa. You're grandpa. Everybody likes your grandpa. And I was like, huh, that's weird. I'm like, is that what all these impulses are? What? And I'm telling you, like, all this stuff just gets passed down.
Maybe.
I don't know. Somebody in my freaking
Pueblo.
pueblo, down the line somewhere, they were laying mad pipe for sure.
The only
Mad.
person who's laid mad pipe is Genghis Khan.
I must have freaking
Have you heard
15% of
about-
his bloodline then.
There- People alive now, 2% of all people can trace back their
back to-
lineage back to Genghis Khan. No one else has near that.
That's
Crazy, dude.
Yeah, you've impregnated that many women.
Everywhere he went, he impregnated people
That's all
for
he
that
did.
purpose.
That's all he did.
He wanted his family to rule the world. His bloodline needed to succeed. I mean, he's done it.
Perhaps. But anyway, back to the the fighting talk we're talking. You left off at that you've been sparring, and that you feel nervous. Sometimes it's different.
Mhm.
Do you think you're gonna pursue it professionally or
Mhm.
just hobby?
Mm-hmm.
You're just gonna keep sparring. You ever gonna have a shot? Actually, go in an official fight?
Yeah, I will.
You think so?
Mhm.
But you're not gonna dedicate your life to it. Okay.
I think I'm too old.
Yeah. I mean, look at what's his name.
Joel Romero.
Joel Romero.
But it's like there's a certain lifestyle that comes with that, and I don't think I like the lifestyle. Like every day train, like I'm sore. Like my rotator cuffs hurt already. I don't think I'm physically built to do that.
You don't
sport.
think that your body can adapt?
Yeah, but a lot of those fighters adapt when you're a lot younger. Your recovery process is like this.
Mm-hmm.
I've already had like some brain trauma from when I was younger, so it wouldn't be the smartest idea for me to do that. And I'm already concussed from last Thursday, so it's like I really like it, but I'm just trying to be as practical as possible. Like it's just I should have pursued it a lot younger. But now it's just gonna be a hobby. And like, do I really want to get hit in the face for a fucking living?
Yeah.
So there's a post that Joe Rogan put. Actually, I won't read it, but it basically says like, be ready. He's like, if you start something, make sure that you're willing to go in all in, or don't even start it at all, and be ready to like lose relatives, your family, or that's the same thing, your wife, your girlfriend, your kids, everyone. Go all in. And he was quoting somebody else, but then I was like, why? Isn't, according to like some philosophies, like your family and everyone else that loves you is like your most sacred thing. Why are you gonna go do that for glory, for money? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Some of those successful people are lonely.
Sure.
It's like very few of them that like you hear like on podcasts. And I was thinking about this. It's like their success story that like perfect example, David Goggins. I'm not saying he's not happy or whatever. Like he's at peace with himself. He's very mentally strong. He can, at the end of the day, he knows he did everything that he had to do. But then also, he doesn't have he has good relationships with very few amount of people. But I don't think everyone can say that like David Goggins. I don't think every successful person can say, yeah, I have like these really good. There's some really successful people that they're all about their career, they're fucking millionaires. But I look at their life and I'm like, I don't want that shit.
Yeah, I think it depends, man. I think
it depends on the person, but like that's the thing. It's like there's these narratives, right?
Well,
that's why I brought up the alpha male thing. It's there are narratives that like dominate our society. At least what I'm looking at on the internet.
I think it's a way to move people. But I think that it's a way to move people. I feel like people like him who are used to doing the best they can in whatever they set a foot, and they keep getting this question: how do I do that? How do I become this? How do I get there? It's just a way to say, like, generalize it in a way where it's like, just go all in, and then no excuses, just to get to move people. I don't think him or the person who he quoted.
Yeah,
they're not trying to. It's not like a.
Yeah, but me as a reader, I've interpreted it as that, and I know there's other people that have interpreted it as that, and then you get a lot of like a lot of mental unclarity because you're like, wait, fuck, like what do I do? Because there's a lot of people like me who like read that and they're like, oh, is that the path to success? Do I have to give everything up? Because that's a constant narrative. Give everything up.
The problem is
keep out the sheep. The naysayers. Arnold says it too.
The problem is that they're also right.
I understand that.
And a lot of people don't see it in the same way you do. Like, for instance, like all of your friends may not see boxing the same way you do. That's why they're not in they're not in the. You know what I mean?
No,
it could be anything. It could be this guy likes programming, and coding, but none of us like that.
I think it's interesting. I think we need people like him.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's helpful to say to him, just go all in. But what happens when you have relatives who care about you? You're like, you're working too hard. You're doing. Yes, they are those people.
I think there's a lot of people out there who don't have good families.
That's also a problem.
So that makes sense to a person like that. But then when you come from a good family who actually cares about you, and that have backed you, it's like, are you really gonna go like leave out your family for the price of glory?
You also have to look at the extent that they're talking. Like,
I get it.
If
It's
we're
motivation.
talking about
I
Joe
get it's
Rogan in a
motiv-
sense, he has the best podcast out there. He has to spend all this time. He has to make sure that he's doing the top-notch thing. He's got to make sure all this. There's only so much time in a day. He's got to sacrifice this to be able to do this. Like that's what I was saying earlier on. I'd rather sacrifice the full-time job enjoyment of being able to do all these things, but seeing my son less. So I would rather not be able to do all these things, see my son more, and possibly just go and walk around at the beach or something that's free.
Yeah, so it's like that's
So-
your version of that's what you choose to
Yeah.
be like your success.
And so they would rather get rid of all these other people to have all these things.
Yeah,
So it's what they want, not what you want.
it's not. I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of a confusion here, but I guess I don't know.
Well, elaborate.
I can't
Clear it
There's-
up.
There's too much.
But see, that's the
I
thing.
don't
I think it's
I don't
all
you know
have-
how
I
we
don't- I don't
keep
have-
having different
I don't have the
different
mental.
ways of trying to say something. It's the same thing. It's the way that they say something. It makes sense to them, but you may be interpreting it completely differently.
Well, I'm low on mental energy right now. Like I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I know what I think. I just don't know how to piece it together.
It's just like when you're in the boxing match. You're not gonna walk in and do 50%.
Okay,
You
so
go
this is
all
what I
in
mean.
when
What
you're in the
saying
boxing
right
match,
now.
but then when you
This is what I'm
leave, you're
saying.
good.
This metaphor, that's what like. How does that correlate to what we?
Because go all in at the time. It doesn't mean go all in and screw everything else
Okay,
out and
see,
never think about
Okay,
it.
now I understand.
When you're in the boxing match, you go 100%. When you're outside the boxing match,
No,
you
no,
don't
no.
even think about
But
it.
that context, when that context of how I'm reading that, how I'm interpreting that little that paraphrase of what Joe Rogan quoted. So there's a success narrative. You guys know this already. I've
Mhm.
talked to him about this.
Mhm.
We have this narrative in our culture to be successful. Do we or do we not?
I mean, it's there, but there are, like, I personally don't think that
You don't
I'm
think
searching for
Yeah,
success
yeah.
in that
I'm
sense.
I'm not
I don't-
saying what you think, but you don't think this narrative is like really a big driving
Yeah, I think
force
that's why there's
behind our
stress.
culture?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So when people read this, people like me, like myself, a lot of people take this to heart and like they're gonna follow that.
Mhm.
You can see it everywhere. It's like I don't know. I don't want to like get more into. I don't want to deviate. My point is like I'm just gonna speak for myself. When I read that, it's like, why would I do that? Why?
Yeah. But
But I don't know. These are important questions.
Time is
yeah, I don't know.
Fucking midnight.
Almost midnight.
almost midnight.
I'm
Let's
just
end it
kidding.
there,
Whoa.
guys.
Not really.
And we can end it there, and we're good to go.
Anyway,
I guess we can leave him with that. That question.
anyway, those
That
were
question.
those were fighting words.
No. Hold on. I want to like really like emphasize on that. It's like, do you? I don't know. Whoever's listening to this, do you guys think going after your goal, whatever it may be, and losing the people around you, whether you come from a shitty family or a bad family, I guess it's up to you if that's going to be worth it for you. I don't know. For your inner peace, maybe. I don't know. I have never done it, so I don't know. I think it's a very interesting question. That actually ties into fighting. It's like, okay, you asked me, am I going to pursue this professionally? I would have to put my love life on hold 100%. I would have to dedicate all of my energy, 6 days a week to training. Not only training in the gym 6 days or 5 to 6 days a week,
Sure.
outside of work or outside of the gym with my nutrition. Because I'm older, I need to recover. We talked about this earlier, the nutrition part. You have to feed your body the correct nutrients. Okay. If I get hurt, my job.
Right.
Okay, I bust tables. If I fuck up my hand, how am I going to bust tables with one hand? I've done it before, but it's going to suck. Or maybe I can't bust and I have to host. That's less money. Okay, am I going to end up on the street to fulfill this dream? If my dream is that big, I guess, but it's really not. It's more of like, I'm just fascinated by it. Okay, also, I would have to work. I would have to work more outside to be able to fund my nutrition, my boxing gloves, my gear. So it's like, at this point in my life, that does not
Doesn't
make
make
sense. at all.
But do you?
But when I read that quote, it's like, well, then when I'm 40, I'm going to regret not pursuing it 100%. That's
But at
also
the same
another
time,
question
you
in my head.
pursue it, and it can also be a regret because now you can put yourself in a different circumstance. Like you spent everything, you put everything on the line, and nothing came of it.
Yeah, but
Now you're gonna
I can
regret
live
it.
with this. I've already pictured this. I can live with the satisfaction that I tried.
It's easy enough to say that, just as the same way that it's easy enough to say that you're.
That's
gonna
not
regret it.
easy.
Yeah, it's
That's
the same
not
thing.
easy. People, you might be
saying
different.
it is saying it, but meaning it is different.
Yeah, people don't like. There's a reason why people don't like. There's like that understanding. I think it's common understanding that people don't like looking in the mirror and facing their demons and actually being like, yes, you're at fault for this and this and this. Like looking at your own demons.
I've never felt regretful
Yeah, but you're-
about something.
No,
Like,
we're
I
not
was
talking
like-
about that.
But no, you kind of are because you're saying the sense of you're gonna feel regretful that you didn't try to do something, and maybe that's where I'm not understanding because I've never felt something like that. Where
Well, have you ever had like a
regret,
big goal? Okay,
like all the bad that's happened in my life? I don't regret. That
we're not
it's
talking
happened.
about.
Like,
We're talking about
created a
goals.
good, like-
We're talking about goals. So like, boxing for me is a craft that I would have to hone in on, dedicate all of my energy towards, so that I can compete, so that I can reach a goal.
Mhm.
What's that goal? Learn the craft, build resilience through that craft, learn discipline, mental fortitude. I can achieve all those things through boxing. I know that. Maybe I can even become lucrative and make money and help my family through boxing one day. But then when I'm 40 and I'm maybe still working in the restaurant industry because it's paying my bills, or maybe I went to college and I did the status quo, and I'm going to be sitting on my couch when I'm 40, and boxing was the only thing that ever like piqued my interest so much enough to like pursue it as a professional, I'll be sitting on my couch and being like, I never tried because I was too scared or X, Y, and Z.
And I think there's
I see, I
countless
don't
there's
have
countless
that.
examples of that. A lot of
I
people.
don't have that.
But you don't have a lengthy. I don't know I don't know about you, but I've already developed a vision of boxing. You have to pick your own thing. I don't know if you've ever developed like a vision for yourself in any domain. Maybe your vision is to be a great father. Maybe that is your success. I don't have kids. I can't say. Maybe that's your definition of success. For me, it's like I don't want to work for other people, so what am I going to do? It has to revolve around fighting. What do you have to do to like become a master of your craft? You have to fight. Does that make sense? Like I have
we
to.
were talking about Mike Tyson earlier. That guy did nothing but sleep, eat, train
Your craft.
most of his life until
Yeah, but
he
you have to be the top person. Is the point?
In boxing,
Like,
have to be.
Like if you look at
If you don't,
like, they go for belts, right? Or like what is?
boxing's not a hobby. It's like you're literally fighting for your life.
but
You can die in the ring.
To consider yourself one of the greats, you would have to get one of the belts, right? Your heavyweight belt, or is it still belts anymore? Like what is it?
Yes.
So that is where you consider yourself as being good or bad, I guess.
No,
So then, at what point can you consider that you did it?
that's up to
What is
you.
it?
That's why I'm saying. For me, if I was sitting on the couch when I'm 40 and I didn't give this thing a shot, I know myself, so I'll be like, "You're a pussy. You didn't do it."
So then you don't have to go all in. Like you don't have enough time to go all in on that. So why don't you
Well, that's what I've realized
Do both.
now. Do what? Do both
do
on what?
whatever else you need to do in life? So go all in on how you said you don't want to work for someone. Go in on your own business.
No. I'm not.
While you're
I'm
still
not
doing
trying
that,
to. I'm
so
not
you're
trying
in
to.
both goals
I'm not trying to
that way.
plan out my life path right now with you. I'm explaining you the thought process of when I read
The name's
Quick.
good.
when I read that thing from Joe Rogan, and I'm like, I'm correlating it to like my experience and what other people might be going through. I'm not saying I have to plan out my shit right now with you or with him. I'll figure it out. But what I'm saying is like, there's a lot of confusion, I think, when people read shit like that.
I think there's two parts to it. One, I think he's hopeful that the one person who reads that is going to get after it. They're finally going to do what they're meant to do
Yeah.
and what they want to do and stop sitting on their ass. The second part would be everybody else. and not everybody else has a choice of what does that actually mean to them. And if you're blindly listening and not understanding, it's your own fault. And unfortunately, we have a ton of those people, right? We have a lot of people who I feel like the people don't really understand many things in depth. I think we kind of skim through things, and it isn't until we try them that we find out the real meaning of them.
It's like what my old boss used to do. He used to throw out these goals. You knew it was not possible. Like, never. It's like, let's say we did a Thanksgiving dinner, and the goal was to sell $10,000 worth of these Thanksgiving dinners. You've been around, I've been around in the company for long enough. There were managers who I would consider better than I was, where they couldn't even do half that. And he knew that. He knew that no one was gonna hit the 10,000. But the point is that by putting the 10,000 there, you're gonna push harder than you were doing before, and you're gonna go for a goal that's not feasible. So sometimes quotes like that say "go all in" may push you to go in harder than you were going to in the first place.
Mm-hmm. But when you're telling people to sacrifice, your relatives, your wife, I take issue with that. Obviously, I'm taking it as my own issue because I like to think, and I'm like, you guys didn't think this all the way through. I get that that's for like the super motivated people that like want to be an Olympic gold medalist or want to be like a top athlete or want to be like the next fucking like Drake, so
I think that statement was for the 5%.
Yeah.
Everybody else,
but how many people read that? Yeah, but I think also people might read that and they might just be like,
yes,
like,
they do that all the time.
Like,
and motivation dies quick, man. You have to be really. That's what I'm saying, is that 5% who's actually going to do it, then it means everything to them.
Yeah. I don't know. Personally,
I think it's about percentages.
I don't think I'm that person. I think I want to live more like in moderate, like more balanced.
But you still, you still have the fighting spirit, which is, really cool that we were able to have you on here.
And I don't see a lot of people see moderate as an issue.
Because mediocre is mediocre. It's like you're not the 1% mindset. You're the 99% mindset. But then if you think about it, you break up the 99%. There's got to be different mindsets within the 99%.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a moderate
in some circumstances.
Yeah, for some people.
You ain't fat. You ain't the biggest guy. You median. You got that rips.
Schmedium? What about Schmedium?
You got the dad bod look. Craig's got that dad bod look, man.
All right, guys. Had a good time.
Well, pleasure to have you, Sergio. Hopefully you can join us again in the near future.
I would like to
fighting.
Talk more about the fighting philosophy, but
maybe we can do
we're still learning for sure.
Yep. Yeah.
Thanks for having me on,
again.
guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.